Hey, child. I ain't gonna keep y'all too long. Them old eggplants looking alright, so is them peppers. Um, Even though they getting a little shade from this mulberry, they getting a ton of shade. They getting a little, but I just want to jump on here right quick and I was watching some stuff this morning and I'm a little amped up, so uh, I won't say amped up, but I wanted to give y'all some information. Uh, but let me show y'all the first little thing. Don't do like me. When you see your broccoli start looking like that, that's still tight in the middle. It just happened to turn a little yellow on me. But don't let that go no further than that. Once it start looking like it's gonna start going to seed, the texture ain't gonna be worth for nothing. I'm gonna cut that off today and eat that. But you know, when you got so much stuff to eat, this is why I try to tell people to grow a lot of brassicas and not just collard greens. I see people growing a ton of collard greens. They're not really growing a ton of other brassicas. Keep in mind, you can eat all them leaves, even if you don't get the crop you intended to get. You can eat all the leaves. So, and we're gonna get more into this okra plant. This okra plant is slept on a little bit too much for my liking. I'm so sick of these phone calls, and it don't even be people that I know. You know what I'm saying? It's that scam crap. You know what I'm saying? Your credit card, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Then when I ask you, what bank is my credit card with? You can't even answer. It's clear that you not my credit card. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not calling about my credit card if you can't tell me what bank my credit card's with. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It just pissed me off with them scam calls. I'm sick of that stuff. I thought the do not call list was real. My number is on that list, but yet I still get these calls. See, I may have to get my attorney involved because I'm sick of this. I'm not changing my number. I'm not letting these people bully me into nothing. I ain't that tight. In case you didn't know, I don't move. I don't flinch. I don't wince. Shoot, I'm the only child that had to take all their ass beatings. Then I ain't have no siblings to share no beatings with. You feel me? So I don't even want to hear it. Anybody that's on here that's the only child know what I'm talking about. When you the only child, ain't no sharing no ass beatings. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to what I was saying. That okra is slept on, just like most stuff from Africa is slept on. But if I have my way and have my say, it's gonna stop being slept on. Nah, but that ain't what this video is about. Ain't that pretty? Man, this callaloo, this giving me a run for my money, these bugs, boy. I seen some little worms on this stuff. I sprayed it with BT last night. I'm gonna spray it with some neem too, but the neem ain't deterring them little flea beetles. It's really not. Them flea beetles is something else. But I mean, I don't mind a few holes, but let me show y'all on the other side, man. Some of this stuff, they skeletonizing it. It ain't nothing but, look at that. There ain't barely no leaf left. You got to leave me something. See, this to me especially, y'all know callaloo get much bigger than this. This is still babies. But I can't have it. You know what I'm saying? I can't have it like that. Can I get 80% of the crop, please? You know, which I knew amaranth was a trap crop for a lot of bugs. I know a lot of bugs love it. But I had to figure that out. So that's a test for me this season. But on to what I want to get on to. So I was talking about watermelons, and I noticed a lot of misconceptions about genetics a lot of times when people are talking about plants, the next generation, saving seeds, genetics. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all what I noticed the most. And this is not a diss or a critique of anyone. This is just putting the information out there so that the information can be had, and so that going forward, put it like this: when you know better, you do better. You feel me? So I'm trying to help y'all know better. I ain't on here, giving hair tips and, not knocking them channels, but I'm just saying I ain't on here telling you the latest fad. I'm really trying to help you do something in your garden and therefore in your life. So if you're looking for that, where every thumbnail is your grinning face, go on over to them channels. They'll love you. But just know they probably really not going to teach you nothing because they more into vanity than they is anything else. You know, it's kind of annoying because vanity don't get you nowhere but to the Miss America pageant. Then after you win that, then what? If you ain't got nothing to stand on, you only gonna open so many grocery stores and kiss so many babies. Then what's next? You feel me? But anyway, let me tell y'all, my neighbor up the street using some Miracle-Gro. Hope you don't come up here and talk to me. I ain't got time for the bull today. Cause he be with that $2 conversation. I ain't got time for the $2 conversation. So back to the genetics. When it comes to genetics, I hear people say, you know, like they'll see a fruit, cucumber, what have you. I'm gonna walk over here to the greens. We'll come back to the watermelons. I can't stand still this morning. But anyway, you'll see somebody say they'll see a different something in a fruit, whether it's peach, apple, whatever, it don't matter, cucumber, whatever, tomato. Oh, it must have crossed. And they'll say that by looking at the fruit. Let me point this out to you people. You cannot tell what has crossed by looking at the fruit that's on the plant right then. I'm going to say that again. You cannot tell if something has crossed by simply looking at the fruit that's on the plant right then. And we're going to keep this to fruit right now. It does apply to other stuff. It applies just a touch differently, but let's stick with fruit right now. So if you growing, let's say, some tomatoes, and you see one of your tomatoes does something weird, or the fruit looks kind of weird or something, and you say, oh, and you growing another variety of tomato right next to it, and you say, oh, it must have crossed. Oh, you ain't gonna know that right then. The way plants work is this. For instance, this tomato blossom. And it's actually hard for tomato blossoms to cross. Actually, I'm not saying that they can't, but you have to do some stuff to get them to cross. You actually have to rip that blossom off and get access to the insides of there and actually cross them. If you ever watch somebody do tomato breeding, you'll know what I'm talking about. Tomatoes don't readily breed, cross, but they can. Things that readily cross a lot easier are the cucurbits, squash, also peppers, squash, cucumbers, watermelons, any melons, any type of pepper, that type of thing crosses readily. But let's say a bee goes from a male squash flower to a female flower. Okay, he just pollinated that flower. But let's say before he got to that male flower, he was at several other variety of squash male flowers. And he got some of that pollen on him, or she rather, got some of that pollen on her legs. And so therefore, when she walks across the female, she not only deposits the pollen from that particular plant, but she also deposits the pollen from the other varieties that she visited earlier. When that squash grows out, let's say you're growing just a regular zucchini. When it grows out, that squash will look exactly like a regular zucchini. It will not look any different. I'm going to walk over here to the zucchini. I can't show y'all no crosses, but I can show you I got one that took, though. I hand pollinated that one. See this one down here? I didn't hand pollinate. I figured out I don't think these are Parthenon carpet. That one opened up first and it's shriveling up. I'm pretty sure it's gonna fall out for me because it didn't get pollinated. There were no male flowers open. Anyway, that zucchini will grow out to look like a regular zucchini. The way you can tell that your stuff has crossed is if you take seeds from said zucchini and grow them out the next generation. Then when those fruit come out, they will not look exactly like a regular zucchini. If they indeed crossed, they will look like a blend of the 2 or 3 possibly that crossed. Because like I said, that bee may have visited several varieties of squash. You know, it depends on what you're growing, what's growing around you, all that. Just like okra. A bee may have. Is he keeping on? Yep. Anyway, a bee may have visited several different okra before it got to that one and walks around on it and deposits not only pollen from the previous okra, but also the pollen of that okra. Therefore, now you have a cross. And you'll never really know what that cross is until you then save seeds from that fruit and then grow them out the next year. And when you grow them out the next year, you will notice you have something different than what you thought you was going to have. It's because the stuff crossed, and now you're actually seeing the genetics. So the genetic information that's actually crossed, it actually happens, it's within the seed itself. It doesn't display that in the fruit right then. And what you have, when something shows those traits, it's called phenotype. It's shown physically. It's just like when you have, let's say you have an interracial baby. One parent is one ethnicity, another parent's another ethnicity. The mother doesn't show the traits of whoever she slept with. Her child does. You see what I'm saying? You don't see the genetics until that baby is born. And that baby in this scenario would be the same thing as like a seed embryo. A seed is an embryo once it starts to germinate. Or should I say a seed has embryo, has an embryo in it, basically. It has a baby plant in it that grows to be a big plant. So that's the way you have to look at that. Just know that you're not going to see your crosses until you breed, grow them out. So if you cross corn, you're not going to know what you get until you take those seeds and dry them and you grow them out the next year. If you cross it again, you're not going to know. The same thing with watermelons. You're not going to see. That's why you can grow 2 or 3 different kinds of watermelons. Like when P. Smith sent me these seeds, and once again, this is no diss to her or anything. I'm just telling you what happened. Because she didn't really know what happened either. One year she said she grew Crimson Sweet, because I asked her where she got the seeds from. I was like, did you get them seeds from somebody or what? And she was like, no, one year I grew Crimson Sweets, and then she grew some yellow fleshed watermelon. Can't remember what it was. And she was like, I saved my own seeds. Well, bees were out there pollinating, and she was growing more than one variety at one time. And the bees out there cross-pollinating, doing their thing, doing what they're supposed to do. She then saved seeds, which is a good thing, from those watermelons. And when she grew them out the next year, that's why she was able to see this watermelon with that's yellow fleshed with these pink stripes in it. And on the outside, it looked like Crimson Sweet. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, when she cut it, she thought it was going to be Crimson Sweet, because it looked like it on the outside, the traditional Crimson Sweet look, big watermelon, stripes, that type of big round watermelon with stripes. And you assume that it's just going to be a red flesh watermelon or whatever. But when she grew it out, she got this melon that on the inside did not look like Crimson Sweet. That's because she grew the seeds that she saved, and the genetics were then shown. So if any of you ever want to do some breeding, for instance, let's say you want to make something better, or you want to play around with stuff, because really these watermelons are a kind of a experiment for me. I'm actually I'm going to see what I get, but really this year the fruit's not going to matter what I get, because I'm taking sugar babies and the 2 different seeds that Penny sent me. Penny sent me seeds that, and I'm going to be honest, don't really know what I'm going to get out of Penny seeds, because once again, the bees pollinated them. It's all good with me. I don't care. The plants is growing like crazy, so I don't care what they are. And this is another thing I want to mention about genetics. When you mix a bunch of different genetics, you oftentimes get better, stronger, bigger, faster plants. It's just like when you talk about blue bloods, when the royals only bred with themselves, even if they was their cousins or whatever, you start getting these genetic traits that you don't want, that's undesirable, such as being a hemophiliac. You can't stop bleeding. You can't get a paper cut because you might die. That type stuff. Or in dogs, you notice it when they constantly breed the same genetics over and over again. You start seeing things like in Great Danes, you see hip weaknesses, so they get hip dysplasia a lot. You start to see all these, or these little dogs, they breed with these little short little snouts that I really don't agree with, because the health of the dog is compromised. These dogs with the super short snouts, whether it's Pekingese or these little bullies that they make, and that they sound worse than Darth Vader. They be awake. Dude, that's not healthy for the dog. But people continue to breed that stuff. But don't even get me started on that, because me and what they breed for dogs, you don't even want to know what I think about it. But it's the same thing. When you keep breeding these same genetics over and over again, you start to see weaknesses. And that's why sometimes when you get a very pure, and I'm going to be honest and say these Bradfords, I think they may be a poster child for that. Because here you got something that's genetically diverse, and these haven't given me but one male flower. One male flower. The vines don't have as much vigor, and they're getting the same treatment as these other ones. These other ones are just, growing like freaking gangbusters. Now I'm going to keep growing the Bradfords. I actually did save some pure seed from the Bradfords last year, the one melon I did get. I may plant those next year, or maybe I'll plant them the fall of this year, maybe, and see what I get. But I'm not impressed with the Bradfords. I'm just be honest with you. I'm not impressed. I'm much more so impressed with these over here. I like the vigor. I like the growth. But at the end of the day, the vigor and the growth on a watermelon don't mean nothing if you taste it and you don't like the taste. I think I'm going to like the taste, but only time will tell. That's something that you have to look and wait and, be patient on. So, but I did want to show you guys, though. I think I might have showed the previous video. There's one. Can y'all see? There's another one. The amount of melons on these vines are. There's another one. I just have to look. I can look all over. Here's an itty bitty one that I just pollinated yesterday. I'm gonna go around to the other side. Once again, nothing on the Bradfords. Everything was planted the same day. It's been given the same treatment. I want to keep emphasizing that, because when you do an experiment, you have to conduct the experiment properly. And a lot of people don't. Look at that. I didn't even know that one was in there. So y'all seeing some that I'm seeing brand new. That one. Let me hold it up so y'all can see how big it is. That's that one. I think that's the sugar baby, I think. And you can see this one. But yeah, these are going to all be a blend of the Eritrean melon, the sugar baby, and then the ones that Penny sent me. And I'm going to breed I'm going to taste the fruit, see what they taste like. And I'm going to go from there and see what I want to do as far as breeding them. And I have selected a couple that I bred just purely onto themselves, so that I can make sure to try to see what the genetics. Basically, to take the seeds, I bred some vines specifically to themselves so that the genetics are pure, just to see what I get. Next year when I grow them, of course, next year. So all of this stuff is a virtue of patience. That's why when I run into people who talk about gardening and they talk about they want it now, if I can it now, I need it now. I don't want to do this because it's going to take me 4 days. Just understand that they're not really a gardener. I heard somebody say that about a fruit one time. Oh, that's why I don't grow that, because it take all this time. But they growing fruit trees. Are you serious, yo? Get out of here. Get out of here. Are you serious? But you call yourself a gardener, though. Oh, what? Because you bought your trees big already and they already fruiting? Come now. But anyway, people, I'm just telling y'all, pay close attention. Pay very close attention. Scam artists will tell on themselves, But, patience is a virtue. Gardening has taught me patience, because I used to have way less patience. I still really ain't got a whole lot of patience, like for foolishness and stupid shit. I don't have much patience for that. But yes. Ooh, lizard. Hey, lizard. Where's the end of your tail? Have you been in a fight? Let me see if y'all can see. Y'all see him on the tire? He missing piece of his tail. You see it? Or is he? No, the end of his tail is black. He's not missing a piece of his tail. Yeah, the end of his tail is black, which is interesting. I've never seen a little black-tailed lizard before. Like the tip of it's black. But anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to come to y'all and bring out that little genetics lesson. Just like which I didn't, but if I had crossed these and those, the pods would still look the same. But when I grow the seeds out, you'd probably get a cross between the two. And I remember previously I said I thought rat tail and dragon tail was the same. It's not. Rat tail is much larger, much longer. I won't say larger. The dragon tails, and I see why they call them that, A dragon's tail is usually kind of fat and short like a dinosaur. You see how these are fat and short? See how when I hold them in my palm like that, they're about the length of my palm. That's a better representation there. That's a little longer than my palm, but you see what I'm saying? But the rat tails, if you've ever seen a true rat, a huge ass rat with a long tail, this is what their tails do look like. Just long, and then it's long and slender at the end. That's rat tails really do look like that. So, but I did notice on this, some of these, the genetics, like the pods, some of the pods aren't as green. I mean purple. And all of these were supposed to be purple. But I'm thinking maybe when they mature, they're not as purple, but see how the leaves are doing that on me? They're dying out on me, so I'm gonna pull that, but that's all good because I'm gonna put peppers there. And then when this dies out, when this finished seeding, because I want a nice amount of kohlrabi seeds, I'm gonna pull this. I'm gonna pull those as well. But notice how I garden, y'all. As I pull, I got something else to put there. As I pull, I got something else to put there. It's kind of stressful because a lot of times I start stuff and I'm like, where am I gonna plant this? Where am I gonna plant this? But stuff gets out the way. You just have to be patient. Stuff gets out the way because you can see. Remember, I had a bunch of empty open spots. And just like when those cabbage finish going to seed, the cabbage will come out. Something will go there. When these mustards come out, this whole line here, something will go there. And then keep in mind, all of those holes are gonna get planted. I haven't planted them, so. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that. Let y'all know what's up. Let y'all know what to look for genetics-wise, and how to keep y'all from being confused when you see a little bit of variation in your fruits. If you're seeing variation in your fruits now, that means that they were crossed. Those seeds were crossed, excuse me, previous to you getting them. You did not cross them, or they did not cross in your yard. So if you're seeing some genetic variation, you either got screwed on the seeds, or maybe the grower didn't know that they got crossed, or maybe they did a sloppy job of isolating their blossoms, or what have you, whatever method they went about doing it. So I just want to let you guys know that. And yeah, I think that's about all I got to say. Look at the potatoes, man. Potatoes freaking taking over my yard. That's a beautiful sight. Them onions too, boy. Let me show y'all the bulbs. And I'm going to talk about onions a little bit because I ain't going to lie, I see some larger channels. The information they give, and it scares me because I honestly see that they don't understand that their platform is so large and how many people they impacting. And that's why the social media thing is scary to me, and that's why I really don't do a whole lot on social media. You have to be very careful and very strategic if you want to be wise. Now, if you want to be like Candace Owens, go out there and say what up, and then, Black Twitter tear your ass to pieces. But we won't get on that. What you do, you have to be very careful as to what you're saying. And when you're saying some stuff that's it's not practically sound, and it's not scientifically sound, you have to be very careful with that. You have to be very careful how you word it. But I think I'm going to cut this right here, and I'm going to do my onion video. So y'all stay tuned for that. All right? Till next time, see you guys later.